6 minutes till we start for the few that are up and watching. Just so you know, we're just kind of holding off, waiting for the time to officially start so we see who is showing up. Can anybody give me a thumbs up if you can hear me just fine? What's up, Vinny? Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me? Can I get a thumbs up? Something? Okay, thank you. There we go. No bean burrito yet. I had lasagna for dinner. I had food poisoning this weekend, uh, so things went bad from Friday until today. All right. Yep, we'll do Tesla, Jill. Don't worry, we'll get there. We're just waiting. We're just waiting about 3 more minutes. I just sent the tweet out letting everybody know that we're alive and we're here and we're going. So now we're just kind of chilling out and giving it a sec, waiting for some more folks to show up, and then we'll get going. And we'll start always with the same thing I always do. I will draw some levels on Spy, and we'll take a look at how I do that and make sure things are nice and clean. Let's see what that tweet looks like when it goes out with just the link. Oh, not bad. All right. I know none of you can talk, but you can still type out. Everybody have a good weekend. Anybody do anything awesome? Yeah, food poisoning does suck. It was almost immediate. Mine was from one of my favorite restaurants. So I ate a chicken pollo, which is chicken com pollo, which is like chicken and rice and queso and chorizo, and all dumped all over each other. And within like 15 minutes of eating it, I was immediately on my deathbed. It was terrible. I thought I was clear last night and I ate again and it didn't go well. All right, 1 minute to go and then we'll get rolling. We won't try to waste everybody's Sunday night. I do have a question for folks that are watching. Can you see the Trady logo and my Mr. ET logo? I was trying something new with the software to see if it would work. You guys are like my guinea pigs. I dreamt. Oh, thank you for dreaming about me, Vinny. That was nice of you. I hope your boy's feeling better. Oh, snowboarding sounds fantastic. All right, look at that. It is 7 o'clock. We went from just a few viewers up quite a bit, so folks are paying attention. People are hopping in. We will get started here very, very, very quickly. Welcome, everybody. I'd like to say thank you for always showing up to these things. It's a good time. I feel like we learn a lot about the tools. We get to spend kind of a lot of time talking about the different things and how I kind of view plays, and it helps you get in a little bit of a habit of looking through the platform and finding ways to build your own plays, how to draw the levels, etc., all those things. And I think it's important for all of us to do this together and kind of work through all the things and see how all the tools work. So we will start the way we always start. Let me pull up SPY here, and we'll go to we want to go to the stocks dashboard, and then we're going to go through plays. We don't have the market tomorrow, which is cool. Not cool at all because I'll be bored. Since we don't have the market, we can kind of take the time. And what I'd really like for all of you that are paying attention, what I really like is after we go through tonight is for all of you to kind of find a play and then talk about it. Maybe even enter it if you want. You don't have to, but maybe test it out. Going through the same stuff we're going through tonight. Find something that you like. And then if you do well on it, let me know, let us know, let the platform know, let Hater know that you found a system that worked. That's really what's important, is that you found something that worked and that is actionable for you to get a little bit of money. So let's go ahead. We're at SPY. Let's see what our Greek levels look like on a higher time frame. I don't really want to draw that. Let's go a little shorter and see what we've got here. So we're on the 5-minute time frame right here, and we're on SPY. We'll draw it out. That's a little cleaner. Okay, so anybody raise your hand if you remember where I like to draw my lines. Anybody remember? It's going to be a fun one. All right, nobody's answering, so we'll keep going. So right now we're drawing our lines. I am looking for points of contention and price around a GEX level. Okay, so step one is I want to find where price has reacted a bunch around a GEX level. So, and then there's another phase to this that I don't talk about often, but we'll get into it. Purple lines. We do love our purple lines. There's another phase that I don't talk about as often, but it's barely contention. Everybody's got it. So, but it's a kind of a barely move once we get to our chart. So we've got our level drawn there. Let's say 410.63. Not a whole lot of action around here, but 409.42. All right, see, we don't need to draw maybe right here. We've only had this spot here. We haven't had a whole lot of bounces, so we're maybe not as worried about it. We've had a lot of consolidation here around price at our 407.39, and then our lower range here that we had some issues with not losing around 405.43. So from there, we're gonna go ahead and go to our chart. Our first one is 410.63, so we're gonna scroll up a little bit, but we haven't seen that in a while, have we? So there's nothing up there that we're actually even going to draw right now. Say the chances of us ripping to that aren't quite as high. So there we go. So the next one we'll try, let's try 407.39. Let's see if there's still a line there. So there's one at 407.16. Now look at this. So here's the next part that I find really important. I drew that line. It says 407.39. I don't need to be exact with where I draw that, but where I do want to be exact is within that same range, and find those wicks where we bounced or rejected once I get to my chart. So if we look at 407.40, even 407.47 roughly if we wanted to, but I like 407.40 better. Once we get to that spot, we know there's a GEX there. We know we've drawn it, right? And now we've looked exactly on our chart and we've seen the wicks, we've seen the candles and how they reacted to it. So that's kind of how we start to draw those. It's kind of a two-step process. And yes, the ones you export into TradingView are highly accurate and will work wonders every time. There will never be any confusion for you. But every time I send something out with this chart, or any of you that view it during the day, people are always like, "Oh my God, why are they so accurate?" And it's because in the mornings, a few hours before the market opens, I start to look for these exact points from the day before, with the levels that I picked up from that morning. Because near the end of the day, they'll change, and so sometimes you won't actually get to see exactly where they might be. But when you go to draw them, you'll be like, "Oh my gosh, price reacted so well there," and it usually carries throughout the day. So our next one was 405.43. I think we have one right there already. See, we don't. We have 405.75. Let's see where 405.43 brings us. Oh my gosh, look how perfect that is with where we've seen rejections. All right, we want to get rid of the pink line because that's when it is a GEX. And so look at that. I mean, if we look at our chart throughout the day on Friday, right, we drew that level. Look at this. I didn't draw anything in today, but that is some really good price action right around this spot. Pretty crazy to see, right? So everybody has now kind of watched how I draw those. I know we do it all the time, and we're going to draw some more on some other charts tonight, but I wanted to show exactly how I do that once again for anybody that was new and just kind of stepping in, so that way more folks had an idea of how I'm getting such precision on my lines. All right, so let's go ahead and take some questions. The first one that we got was Tesla, right? So let's just open it up. Remember, this is like group homework, folks. This is what we're going to do. We're going to look at all this stuff. We're going to look at all the data. We're going to see what we can find here. And we're going to kind of go through, drag this one over here. We don't need plays of the week right now. We don't need that. Let's go ahead and open up the options dashboard for the rest of them and take a look at dark pools too as well. So my process is so simple, and you all have seen it a million times. I go through and I am looking for correlation between tools that tells me just which way the price might go, and then I look for entries and exits based on GEX levels, just simple GEX, not spot GEX, and then I try to execute my plays based off of that. So dark pool is shrinking down some, and I think if I'm going to go ahead and take a bet, I'm going to go ahead and bet that deltas are starting to go the opposite direction a little bit. Not too much. They've shrunk here a little bit, but not necessarily enough. Obviously, our back test on Tesla is ridiculous. So what we have here on Tesla is our dealer deltas are shrinking just a little bit, right? So they're going more towards the side. When we're up here, we want to short Tesla. When we're down here, we want a long Tesla. All right, so as it's getting a little bit smaller, so maybe we aren't going quite as long, or maybe it's not looking. White line is price. Yeah, MGM puts. I'm still doing okay on MGM puts, by the way, because I bought more on its last run up. So I finished Friday green. So, but I only bought the first part of my position. So anyways, Tesla's looking like it could be slowly waning towards the upside. Let's take a look at its Greeks to see how clean it is. All right, let's go to 5 minute because that is too small for my old eyes, and I will be here for the rest of the night. So this is nice. Now, one of the things I'd like to point out is that, and we noticed this, Vinny's in here, and Vinny can confirm. We looked at Airbnb 2 weeks ago, and we saw a Greek level around 141, 148, something like that, and we thought, gosh, that's pretty crazy. Airbnb is sitting at 108, and then lo and behold, what happened? It had monster earnings, and it went quite far up. This one's a hit or miss with which way we want to go. We'll have to look at price once we get to the chart. I've got you on AMD. Let's just work through this one, then we'll kind of go. Best point of contention here. That looks all right. I know this is a slow process, but I only trade 5, 10 tickers tops, so I only have to do this with a few things. So I don't have to worry about doing this with everything that I do. Welcome, Ron. All right, so our first is 211.94, then 209.29. So our 211.39 has changed a little bit. I bet if we roll up, we get to that. Nope. Right around there. That's pretty good. We can see how prices reacted right around this spot multiple times. As we go across the board, you can kind of drag and drop that. Our next one is 209.29. So let's see what we see at 209.29, huh? Not much. I don't really like that spot. Let's draw the line and let's look left. All right, that makes some more sense now, right? So maybe not 209.29. Let's come down to these wicks here, which is 208.70 roughly. That's not too bad. You can see if we look left, a lot of contention around that. So that's probably a good area. And you can see we've kind of rejected there a little bit as well. We'll draw the 205.61 next. So let's just say we're looking at this play. All right, let's just say you're looking at this play, and I'm gonna talk to the crowd, and we're gonna see what we come up together with. If you were going to see, I like right here more than anything, which is a little different than that 205.61, but I'm also on the 5 minute, so it can draw a little different. If you were going to play this play, someone tell me the way you'd do it. Anybody? Let's take a look at the dealer Greeks. Let's think. Contention. Hi, Maddie. Welcome, man. If I were personally looking to play Tesla, I do not want... Maddie just jumps in near the end and says contention. Maybe he wants some, or he likes points of contention. What I would look to do is I don't want a long right here. You all know my rules. I am not looking to play this to this, right? I don't want to play this break, and I'll tell you what, and here's why. If you go back on your charts and you start looking left once you've drawn these levels, once you've drawn these gamma levels or your SR levels or anything else that you're looking at, you will frequently see a candle break above. Okay, you will frequently see a candle break above. This causes the bullish side to buy right here. Let's just drop this candle down here and say this was our line. This candle right here is going to cause the bullish side to buy in, thinking that it's broke. Okay, 1 to 2 candles later, a nice trick after 10 years of watching charts and watching things go by is they're immediately going to go ahead and drop it back down to this level slowly, or the next level to it, right? This candle is the gotcha candle. This is everybody just bought in and went calls thinking we're gonna have a $3 move up, and instead they reverse it on you and send it right back down. Now it's different if this candle stays above for a long period of time and consolidates. Okay, short off the 211.88. See, that is probably where I would look if we got to that spot. If we crossed this and went, this is still risky to me to long. All right, even on a very green day where things are going up. I want my long to start here or here, right, for the ride up, and I want my short to start here, and if I'm wrong and it blows past, this is where my stop goes and I'm good to go. Okay, any questions on that? All right, we're doing AMD next then. Let's see what it looks like. I challenge you all to find some plays and find some things that you like and bring them to us, right? Let us see how you did them. Maybe you saw something that everybody else misses that's pretty crazy. Oh boy. So it's dark pool sentiment's okay here. They have earnings. Do they have earnings again this week? Or is it Nvidia? Yep, we'll look at that near door on SPY. We sure will. So Nvidia, or not Nvidia, AMD still has a little bit, still has a good back test when we're looking this direction, okay? So when we're down here, it still has a chance to go up. It's been traveling down a little bit, but as you can see, dealer Greeks are slowly starting to move upwards. When they were down here, our price, when they were further down, our price was going up. Okay, its dark pool looks okay. So that's all right, I guess. Its largest dark pool level, and this is something to keep in mind, is at $86. And a lot of times those can act as magnets. Now I'm not saying price immediately goes there, or goes there at all. We could have a terrible week, but a lot of times these largest dark pools, if they don't change, can be reached. Okay, so it looks okay for dealer Greeks. Kind of mid for a long for me. This is one that I probably wouldn't pay much attention to at all. For the time being, let's go ahead and shrink our time frame down a little bit, and let's look at our Greeks. So we're sitting below a lot of Gex right now, which is pretty interesting. Where's Ape's video you're talking about? Love that guy. This is kind of an either or on this one, to be honest. There's lots of price that's bounced here. It's probably, actually this level's probably better off right here. Looks like it's rejected there and bounced more than the other direction. Okay, look how close these are though. This one's a hit or miss on the bottom, so that's just a drag and drop on the chart. Figure out where you want it. TLT? Oh yeah, you meant to say TLT. I've got you. Okay, let's take a look. Just as a review, somebody said it pretty well. Oh, it is Ape talking to you. Oh, good job with video. Oh, I didn't even see it saw Fast Plumber. You got to change your name around. Okay, Mark, that's a good question. Do you like the dealer Greeks at certain levels on the plus minus range before you enter a call put swing? I let the levels on the chart dictate that. So let's just say I was wanting to play Tesla, and the dealer Greeks were pointing towards upside. Now I want to point out the very first thing in my trading strategy. I do not care if I miss a play, ever. I have zero concern whether a play goes without me. Let's say I want to go long and it just decides to rip and go all the way up to 226 on me or something. I'm okay if I miss that. But I will set my price targets pretty simply. I'll set them for 204.81. I'll set them right around that area. I'll set my price targets for 201.42. I will come back and revisit its tools. I will see what its algo looks like, what its dark pool looks like, all that information, okay? I will check all that information again, and then I will decide if I would like to risk a long on that. Now, on top of that, I will also be looking at what market net flow says for the day, overall market sentiment, how I'm feeling about that for the day, and I might say, oh, it hit 201. Man, its dealer Greeks look good, its dark pools look good, I want to long it. I might decide to redraw some more levels and check if there's some below if we're on a downtrend day. Right? Patience is the key. But I would alert myself here and decide if I want it long. Now, Tesla's not something I play generally until Fridays. It's one of my favorite Lotto Friday tickers because you can get 400 or 500% in just a couple of minutes, and then you don't have to trade the rest of the day. But if I were to swing this, that's how I would think. Okay, so we were looking at AMD. Let's pull up AMD's chart real quick. And I've got some levels here. 79.63. So we've got one right around there. That's going to come out perfectly to this level right here, just about, right? So there's our level there. Did I draw a lower level? I did not. I did not. All right, 81.59. We'll drag this one down. That's going to be about right. I like it right there. Okay, so and then our last one, we'll just draw one at 83.56 or higher, see what happens. I bet you that 83.56 comes out to about right here, just pretty close. Yep, look at that, 83.39. Remember what I said, once you draw these, go to your chart and make sure you're within like 20-30 cents of them and check to see where those points of contention on the actual live chart are. I know it's a little bit of work. Okay. So anyways, let's say AMD has potential. It really does. All right, it has some potential for upside because it's got some decent dark pool. It's got some decent It's got some decent dealer Greeks, not crazy good. I mean, obviously, look at these down here, how far they are down. That makes a big difference. But it's done pretty well with some small uptrends here. It really looks like, I mean, obviously Friday got a pretty good point of consolidation. If I were to long this, I would check lower levels for sure to see if it's possible that it's going to go down more, if the market's going to be terrible. I will say something that everybody can do whatever they want to do, but I use stops religiously on everything. If I am swinging, which I have been doing a lot of lately, my stops are wider because I only buy in chunks. So I only buy a quarter of position my first time. If I am day trading, I keep a hard stop and I respect it as I made a mistake and I entered wrong. And I think Maddie talks about this all of the time, and I do it a lot. I log everything that I do. I journal every trade. I have it's embarrassing to say that my grandmother gave it to me. I have a kitten notebook that's got kittens on every page and on the cover, and I write every trade I took. Not only do I write the trade, I write down what I ate that day. If I was in a bad mood, if somebody on Twitter upset me, if somebody at my job put me in a bad mood. All of those things I log to decide what it was mentally that caused me to take that trade. And then not only do I write down just the information, the entries, exits, all the things I was feeling, I write down how I was feeling, and then I try to decipher later on in the week. Over the weekend, I'll read through and I'll say, why did I take that bad trade? I am not infallible. I do take bad trades frequently, but I do respect my stops, which keeps a bad trade from turning into an account blowing trade. All right, so we've looked at AMD. Let's see what Apple has in store for us. I've already got some levels. There's gonna be one interesting here that's had us all kind of shook over the past few days looking at Apple. Is there was, and we'll see, a massive ghost zone. Yes. The reason I have a stop loss at 20% and take profit at 10% is because my entries are so good. Usually, yes. I buy a little heavier, and I'm okay with 10%. There's one thing after all this time that I could always work on, and everybody could. It's letting runners do their thing. But I generally want to be done with it. I don't like to trade the first hour. The second hour of the day is where I try to get all of my trading done. If I see a setup I like, if not, I just avoid it. And I am perfectly okay with trading 0 trades in the day. If I do not see something that attracts me as a good trade, I am perfectly fine with doing nothing that day and just watching the market. It's okay to sit on your hands. The goal is to make money. So the goal is in the end to win and to execute properly. Making money is the effect from doing that. So the real goal is to beat the market and win consistently by being consistent every single day. So yeah, so my entries are usually pretty good, and a lot of times when I give an entry, sometimes that they'll go 20-30% up before I can even get a chance to sell, which is a nice win. And then sometimes friends of ours that see what I'm trading will hold on to them for 300 or 400% and then laugh at me later on for taking my scraps. And that is okay with me as well. I'm okay with just taking those scraps and then being done for the day. I'd rather be on Twitter talking to y'all about the market and in Discord having a good time than I would be actually having to do the trade. But I still most days end up taking 1 to 3 trades most days. On super choppy days, I just sit out though. If I'm buying options, how do I pick expiry and strike once levels are hit? I am playing, Dave. I would say I play a lot of. I did play a lot of ODTE. A few months into them being introduced, I've decided I don't like them nearly as much. The profit is way bigger, but I'm buying within a range, and I'll show you. I'll give you a good example here on SPY real quick. We'll look at Apple here in a second. I'll give you a good example here. If this is the range that I've kind of determined that we're going to play for the rest of the day, 407 to 404, if I am long, I'm going to buy 406 a week or two out probably. right? I want to go somewhere in between. If I'm short, right, I'm going to go 406, 405. I don't want to play the bottom or the top of that range. I want to buy my strikes. I buy my strikes in the middle of this range. Minimum now of 3 days out is about where I do it. But most times I've been grabbing all of mine a week or two out and just letting them kind of do their thing for a few hours instead of having to worry about it be a scalp right away. Let's see, your next question. Ape, risk to reward. Most people don't evaluate it. How do I do that when I am trading? That, Ape, comes down to the setup I'm looking at. Really the setup I'm looking at. Let's say we've bottomed here, right? We don't know we're at the bottom yet, but we've hit this level, right? We've tested it a few times. But if we look left throughout Friday, we can see how many times we've smacked that level. And let's say we've hit it 3 or 4 times, and for some reason MNF is pointing way up, really, and it's saying, my goodness, market net flow says calls are being hit hard. Okay, but let's say they're getting hit hard, here, right? And this is pretty common because price doesn't react immediately, it takes time. So let's say they're getting hit hard right around here, and price starts to drop down a little bit, and I've noticed this level. I may go high RR here. Okay, I may go a little shorter expiry, and I may hit it with more capital than I would on a general basis. I hope that answers that question well. Cash is also a position. Yep. Somebody put on Twitter the other day, patience is also a position, and I really liked that. I really liked that a lot. Okay, what were we looking at? Apple. So here's the interesting thing. I think I drew this out on Friday because all of us were like, what the hell? So here's the levels that we drew on Friday on Apple. But I stopped at 160. Nope, there's the 171. It's 173-ish, 171. I find this really crazy that we're looking at this much of a ghost zone upwards. Potentially, right? I mean, these are small fries here from where we are priced to 155, 158, 161, 163. But see, once you get to one above 163, there's a $7 gap almost. Not necessarily looking for a big move. I just like to know where future levels might be. We talked a little bit about that, Clayton, where Airbnb 2 weeks ago had a massive gamma level above, and none of us could figure out why. And then it nailed its earnings, and it went to that level. So it's just one of those things where why are there Greeks there if price might not reach it? Now this is stupid. This is not a guarantee at all, but it's something that I'm going to keep an eye on. Right? Let's say somehow price makes it to 163, and all these levels are still here. I'm going to start getting real interested in what might happen. Right? Just plain and simple. Let's look at its dealer Greeks real quick. Let me scroll. So we're going the opposite direction on dealer Greeks here. To be honest, on the deltas, we're in potential short time. Still got some decent dark pool sentiment though. I really like when all these line up, but I have been using the Greeks. My lotto Apple calls. Gamma is money. Yep. Very good, Ape. Gamma is money, so always look where money has interest. I mean, that Airbnb, Vinny's in here. Vinny and I talked about Airbnb for about a week straight, and all of a sudden its price hit where that money above was going after some crazy earnings. So we'd even discussed where to enter along, which was about $40 below where it went, and neither of us entered. Just want to point that out. Nobody bought it on a 2-week $40 move. So it looks okay. I've been paying a little bit less attention to what this dark pool sentiment looks like as we go through, and more attention to the dealer Greeks and just my levels. Ape put it best. I want to place my plays where money is, and I want to play in between the money. I mean, you could easily scalp if Apple has a nice Monday on a pullback. You could easily just scalp this. That's I mean, if it moves this price during a day, a couple dollar move, All right, you're talking 50 to 100%, no problem. Nothing like missing a 10,000% return on AB&B. Yep, I feel the same. Swoosh trades. What are those levels? Those are called ghost zones. Yep, they are. These are Gex levels that we have drawn out. If you go back, this video when it's over will be on my YouTube. If you go back and watch the first 5-10 minutes of it, you will see how I draw these levels and what they mean. But obviously, all of these are ghost zones. This ghost zone has the most interest. My gosh, what is happening to the market? That there's potential for money to go up to. It says 173 if we go up to here, but. When do we short Amazon? We want to look at Amazon next? Okay. I think we have the levels drawn out already. I think we looked at them last week. Can I get a thumbs up from folks if this is helpful? If I could type. I don't want to waste your time every Sunday, but I also want to be here for you. But I want you to come back throughout the week and talk to me about things you found. It's got good dark pool sentiment, but I'm pretty sure it's Greeks are garbage. I'm pretty sure it says we should kill Amazon soon. Yeah. Good win percent there. All right, Swoosh says thumbs up. He's the only person. Swoosh is the only person that found this useful. Nice. That's super interesting. That's helpful. The rest of you can go to heck. There we go. A little bit of interaction. This is going to be messy, I bet, if we draw on the daily. Yeah, I'm not drawing that. Somebody asked earlier why I go down to shorter time frames or why I go up. It depends on where the levels. It's always going to depend on how clear the levels are to me, to be honest. So I bet you we have this level drawn already. Clayton, it's hard to keep up with what page I'm on. Do I need to slow down between clicks? Is it reacting slow? Is that what you're telling me? Bet if we drag this down here. Look at that, 97.69. Where do you guys think? What's our best point of contention? There? If we look left. That's pretty good. You see these candles right here? What did I tell you about MMs blowing over a line? Look at this. We go over a line. Look at this. They even give you a little bit of a candle. Like, that's going to be great. That was on a longer time frame though, so we don't need to worry about that. That's pretty good. Now that we're back. I don't know if I like that spot. I think I like that spot better. If we look left, look right. That's about right. 97.20 is the Gex above. 97.69. Whoops, I really botched that one up. God, they're all so close to each other. I don't want to play that. I tell you what, Amazon, I mean, its Greeks are terrible. I would really like to see Amazon, to be honest. If I were going to trade this, I want to see Amazon hit. Why? Oh, I got to do this stupid monster rule he gave me. I'd love to see Amazon come up here to this 136 for a short. Am I swimming? Leech, that is my fish tank. I have a big old fish tank in my office with a bunch of pea puffers, if you know what those are. They're puffer fish the size of a coffee bean. Yeah, if I could get Amazon up to 100, I'd be pretty content. I would not complain there. Someone said, BA, you just want me to look at the dealer Greeks, you said? We had this drawn out last week, actually, on Sunday. I think I tweeted about it. I'm not sure. No, you see, is it a long based on daily Greeks? You see this tail right here where it's shrinking, right? It's starting to move to the wrong side of the way of where you want it. We can check its call delta. Call delta's shrinking, put delta's going up. No, I'd say we should have this charted already too. We drew it out last week. See what the hourly shows. The 215 is where we drew out last Sunday for our short spot. I think. Yep. Right around there. That's what we were looking for. And price got around there quite a bit throughout the week, obviously. Where's our Monday candle? Here? There we go. So no, I don't. I wouldn't necessarily long BA. I might wait for it to challenge price here again before. Um, I might wait for it to challenge price again before I shorted it. Like I said, I'm very patient. I'm not concerned about winning immediately. And I go through so many of these and set so many price targets. I like to write down ones, by the way, that we go through on our weekly chats to see how I feel about them. But I might go through and set price alerts on 5, 10 different things and revisit the tools. Just go back through, take a look, see what I see, and then go from there. You can find a good play every day based on price action going your direction. Hey, you're welcome for the insight. At Delta correlated 3 days, my God, I almost forgot about that. I am so sorry. For SPY, right? Hater tweeted about that this weekend. What if dark pool and delta give opposite signals? I go more off the delta than I do the dark pool, if that helps. It's pretty bearish here, and then we're also pretty bearish here. Doesn't look good. Doesn't necessarily mean the market's going to go straight down. Please pay attention. Please understand that data can all point one direction, and it can take 3 or 4 days for the data to catch up to what the market is doing. It may not go down at all. But one of the important things you always have to remember is that where's the money, where's the price, where's everything going, right? And then be patient on your entries. Like, I want to short SPY into oblivion. I really do. I'm not gonna lie. Lots of the data I'm looking at appears to be bearish. Okay, just purely based on data. That's all I base it on. But I don't want to short here at 407. That's ridiculous. There's still money on the table all the way up here. There's still gamma that exists around this. All this gamma disappears, right? If all this gamma disappears, that's when I start thinking more data points are starting to align for a move down. Does that make sense? I want to see a bunch pop up down below and have less upstairs. Did I hit it? There we go. See, I don't want to go heavy in a short swing when there is still money sitting up at 419. Maybe 409.50. I want to see this money disappear a little bit, though. A few weeks ago, when we were talking about there wasn't anything above where price was right around the time we hit this price, and where have we gone since then, right? Downwards. So there's not any money pulling in that direction. Dark pools weren't up there. By then it's too late. Maybe. I mean, my daily scalps are going to be between wherever price goes Tuesday. So if we open at above 407 and rip to 408, and we've got a pretty bullish MNF, let's say, I'll redraw my levels, make sure I'm on point, check dark pools, wait for pullbacks, low RSI, pullbacks to a level, and then I'll pull my longs from there. You know, and if it's the opposite of that and we open up a little higher, we've got a really bearish MNF, I'll give the market an hour and a half to settle, see where those levels go, and get my scalps from there. Any swing I'm taking is a position I'm building over time, generally at least a month out. I do. Siraj, look, this is dark pool level right here, this 406.44. I don't include all of them because it just depends on where price reacts. Vinny, don't talk about my fish tank by saying it's a tiny little fishbowl. I see that. Hurts my feelings if I had any left. So yeah, Siraj, I do use dark pools, but it depends on price a lot. Most of everything I do is where is price action having the most effect, what levels have the most effect. There will be times that I will draw every gamma level on the screen like you see here, okay, and then throughout the day I will start to delete them when I notice that price has no reactions around them, that candles are going way past or way under every time without any form of contention. Does that help? I said your name correctly? Nice. Do I usually mispronounce it? Or is this your first time here and I don't want to butcher it every time and have you think I'm a terrible person. Gosh, that would not be cool. Great. What other questions do we have? Is it helpful just to go through the mindset of someone that trades all the time? I wish I could share voice on this. I think Matty Ryan, if he's still here, he has a lot of good things to say. So I wouldn't be scared. Wouldn't be scared if we could have other people talk. But okay, we'll pull Meta, and then Coinbase. I almost never play Meta. Dark pool's okay. Everywhere I go, people say this is setting up for a rip. Oh wait, we have to go. Hold on. I think we actually have to go to Facebook and the platform. I think we need to look at that. I'm not quite sure. Nope, it is Meta. Okay, I was wrong. So everybody says Meta's bullish, but if we just look simply at dealer Greeks, that can't be right. I feel like those returns are a little ridiculous. We'll have to look at that one later on. Could be something wrong here. Let's see what happens if I pull up FB, if we get its chart. This one's showing up pretty weird tonight. I'll talk to the big dog about that. All right, let's look at coin. I'm sorry that Meta is being a little weird. We'll take a look at that. Let's see where we go here. I was looking for Facebook, and it still gave me some odd data. Coin, ha! I agree. Kill it. So its back tests are inverse for just pure deltas, right? Buy over 0, short under zero, so it could still be a long. Let's look at everything else it has on the table. Call deltas are up a little bit. Short over zero, which is where our put deltas are. I don't really like anything about that. It's dark pool sucks. It's coin. I'm always down to short it. My God, I'm not drawing all that. Let's bring it out a little bit. Do I use weekly, daily heat maps for additional confluence? I don't. I'll tell you what I do look for them for, and I think we talked about it a little bit last week. When I start to look for some very interesting flow, right? Why is there $13 million in Ford calls sitting $1 above price? Something crazy, right? If I see something like that, a lot of times I'll think to myself, and I used Intech as an example. It was probably 6 months ago, but we saw an absurd amount of money sitting like $4 or $5 above where Intech was a month and a half out. And I bought those cons that were a little further out. Other folks decided to lotto some weeklies and they went like 10K%. Price just rocketed for no reason. That's where money was, so it's not like no reason. And a lot of times they're gonna sell some random stuff to degens, and people are gonna be buying calls that are out of the money, and they'll just keep selling them to them, and the OI will go up and nothing will happen. But I believe data showed that it might go up, so we bought in, and I got the least good of the stick, but others got quite a bit from it. So the only time I really look at those heat maps, to be honest, everything I do is based on price action. All right. So even if I'm looking to take a swing, I'm still wanting to enter my swing and then look at the dealer Greeks, look at the dark pools, recheck my levels, look at the gamma levels. I want to go through all that stuff one more time before I enter that swing. Right. Yeah, the Intech. There you go, 2,000%. That was a fun day. How do I use MNF? Sometimes shorter expirations are bullish way before other time frames. I use the unfiltered. I look at all of them, and I'll give you a really good example of them. Let me check my flow line here. We'll get to coin in a second because that's a good question. Sometimes we will see these little tails here. So let's say we're bearish all day, right? You can actually turn off puts and you can see how calls move price around sometimes. So even on a bearish day, these tails can give you entry points. I mean, we look where we bounced in today. This could have been some dealer unwinding from DMD. That was a pretty big bar, but it wasn't skewed enough. And I think they probably did more. They did more in cash sessions than they did when the options were open than anything else. But that could have been a possibility. But one of the things that I'm looking for at all times when I'm looking at these is I want to see what's actually pushing the price around. It has a really good edge, Siraj. It really does. And we do feel like it front runs. And there are so many days that we have these examples where price continues down. Let's say we open up here sometime, and for some reason price just keeps going down as calls go up. That's generally when we see a pretty knee-jerk reaction on a rip, right? So that's where you just got to be patient. It's one of those things. It's not an instantaneous thing, and a lot of time it does front run price. So you just have to be patient and wait for your entries. I will say, if you have a super green MNF, and I'm going to point this out again, if you have a super green market net flow, why are you going, this would have worked out, but I can't tell you how many times it wouldn't have. Why are you going long on this break, right? If you would have went long on this break on a really green market net flow, maybe it would have gone up here, but why wouldn't you have longed lower? Because if it would have gone here, it was an instant rejection. I think this was that Russia news, maybe. That second where everything dropped on a couple of candles and then everything got back up for a second. You just have to be patient. It's still about your entries, right? It's always going to be about your entries, where you decided to go long or short. If you're doing that in one of these ranges, one of my main rules is once my levels are tight for the day, I am not entering any position in between here. And if I miss this right here, I'm not buying here to get this little bit here ever. I'm remaining patient. Yeah, here's Friday's MNF. Always long the bad news. Yes. So if we just turn puts off, our little ebbs and flows and calls, we can see pushing price around a little bit, right? End of day, obviously, we started to rip up a little bit. Thank you, Siraj. I'll change it. I'll change it tomorrow. There's no market tomorrow. Oh, I did. That was 406.44, right? Anybody remember? I think it was. Yeah, so MNF was all puts, but stock went up at the end. That could have been dealer's market diary. Could have been. Could have just been. Yeah, that's true. Friday was OPEX. That's a pretty wild day for everything. You know, I've been at this long enough where I can tell you pretty commonly that big event days, OPEX isn't an announcement, if you will, like J Pow talking or anything else. But days like that, I will ignore the market until after the event. Truly, and you've seen me tweet about it, and I know you've seen Hater tweet about it. Both of us have kind of openly said multiple times, I want to see the data after the event, not before. Before, it's going to be chop. There's going to be some volatility. There's going to be some shakeout candles and things like that. Let's get that one straight while we're here. That way I don't have to fix it on Tuesday morning for the pre-market video. So a lot of those things, it's all about patience. It really is. If you can control your emotions and when you enter and exit and be consistent with it, you're going to win. This is all of the Trady data that you're seeing is so insanely helpful to lock down consistency because it gives you the proper levels, shows you where money is sitting. Market net flow gives you a good direction, a good indication as to what the market might be doing that day. I know some people said it wasn't working on Friday, but every run besides the end of the day one was shortable, right? Dark pool reject, done. Dark pool reject, shortable. Dark pool reject, shortable again. Gex reject, shortable. This one temporarily shortable before the end of the day run, right? I mean, if it wasn't working right, we wouldn't have rejected in all these spots. We just would have kept running all day. So that's one of those things. It's not an indication the market's going to go down $14 on a day. It's an indication that that there's a lot of selling pressure, perhaps, and that our levels are shortable. Okay, that's how I use it. All right, we were working on coins. Sorry, somebody's sitting there super patiently. Like I asked ET to run coin, and he's just blabbing. So, all right, I'm gonna drag its chart over on my other screen, so I don't have to click back and forth like a maniac. 62.54. Sorry, did not mean to do that. Fat fingered it. I don't know if I like that price as much. Let's look left. Yeah, that's not bad. 62.54 isn't terrible. Let's see where price. Okay, there we go. That's a little cleaner. I don't know if I like that one as much. I'd redraw it. 64.49 and 6661. Uh-oh. God. I was on the wrong chart. I'm an idiot. Let's go there and look left. No, 6-1 might be okay. 6-3, so you can see there. Nice reject there. Couple of these FU candles. Reject, bounce. So that's not a bad spot at all. 64.49. See where we go. Looking left. That's pretty good. That's not bad. You see how I know it's ridiculous that I draw these out like this, like I'm some sort of massive idiot. Hey, you're welcome, Daniel. Thanks for coming. Well, that's these dark pool levels like icebergs. I thought the whole point of DP was to avoid market impact. Well, obviously, if there's a buy and a sell of $1 billion worth of an equity, yeah, that's gonna move the market. That's why it happens off exchange. But they act as support and resistance. Just think of them clearly as support and resistance, just like GEX levels are. Use them like you'd use an SR level that you've drawn on a chart. That is my best advice about a dark pool. Best thing I can say about them is that's how they act. All right, so coin, it is showing it was inverse, right? No buyers there, shoulders there. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. My consistent inkling is to always just be ready to short coin. Price correlations are okay, range bound. Yes, identifying obstacles, Mikhail. It's just really about identifying what areas price is going to have issues, or what areas price is going to bounce from. To me, it's all about bounces and rejections. Everything I'm looking for is a bounce or rejection. That's it. I mean, simplified down to the smoothest brain information that you can get. I'm looking to short here on red MNF, and I'm looking to long here on green MNF. If that, levels change. So Tuesday, these could all be different a little bit. Dark pools will probably be roughly the same. But that is exactly what I'm looking for. And I'm patient and I wait. I will never play. I can tell you if I flipped through my journal and told you about L's I took, those L's would all be me getting antsy, not controlling my emotions, and entering price either direction in these areas, these ghost zones here. Am I looking for a lopsided bell curve? When I'm looking at the price correlations, that is so much a hater question in comparison to me. But yes, where was spies? Spies is what I'm looking for directional. All right, let me go down to spies here. When it comes to directional, if I'm looking to play something and be a little bit leaning towards that, I'm looking for a lot of this in the direction, right? If I was really thinking the market feels bullish, I see a lot of bullish data, right? So if my mind starts seeing a ton of bullish data across the board, and I start seeing things that make me think the market might go up data-wise, I don't really have any feelings about it all. I don't care which way the market goes. I just care that it goes the direction that I decided to go by using the data and the platform. Everything that I do is based off of what I'm reading in the Trady platform these days. It has simplified my trading to the point where I don't have to have any emotional attachment to anything that I do. I use a stop, and if I'm wrong, the data always ends up being right after me, if that makes sense. There have been times that my entries were piss poor, and I lost because I wasn't patient, and the data ended up showing me a day or two later how it worked out. We're at about an hour. Do we have any more questions? I like that, Clayton. Redrawing levels and trains the number in your head. Yep. And also, really, the whole goal of this, that we're going to do this every week, so I hope you all show up every week and have a good time, is I really want to go through this every single week. I want to look at stuff together, and I want us to get in the habit of building the system that you want to use within all of these things, and even point out things that you like that maybe I could learn. Right? There's some stuff in here that I could do better at. Oh yeah, we have 2 Sirages. That's nice. Are the ghost zones a proprietary metric? Yes, they are. They are a proprietary metric level offered by Trady. It's a good question, Mikhail. But now I can pronounce Siraj twice correctly. I'm so proud of me. Dave, it depends on what account I'm on. My Weeble doesn't have trailing stops, so I have to babysit those. So that is a massive pain in the butt. So with those, I babysit them, and I just use hard stops when it comes down to it. Right. So I go with that. Some of my I have a long, not a long. I have a div account where all of my scalps and my swings feed to. There's actually 3 different brokers. Can I make you millions? Sure, Mr. Chauncey. I wish you would come learn with us like we ask you to every week, but we'll get you there. So depending on the account, basically how it works for me, I have a swing account, I have a scalp account, and I have a dividend account that's turned on drip. Okay, so just drip is dividend reinvestment plan. My swing and my scalp accounts have the same amount of money in them every week. At the end of the week, I withdraw down to that exact amount of money. I take out what will go to my accountant, so that ultimately goes to the tax man out of that, and I deposit the rest into my dividend account, and I split that up between a few stocks that I buy there, which we can cover another day if you'd like to talk about some of my favorite dividend stocks. We're pretty much out of time here for the night, though. I don't want to keep them at 2 hours and end up a single guy. Hey, thank you, Georgia. Sorry, Chris. Didn't mean to give everybody your nickname. The whole internet's gonna know now. All right, everybody, have a good time. Tell me. Okay, JKHY. I think is that you, Jill? Is this JKHY Jill? Did you change your name? Maybe not. I swear that's the same avatar I saw earlier. That would be cool. I think the big dog's working on it. Stock dashboard for Gex for SPY. No, stop saying short CLM, Vinny. We're going to stop being friends. Okay, that is Jill. Cool. Do I have a written outline of my steps, Ron? I don't. Should I make one? Mikhail, every Sunday at 7 p.m. Central. Doxed. All right. Love y'all. Long time. I'll see you next Sunday. Do me a favor. Find some plays, and let's talk about them throughout the week. DMs in Discord, on Twitter, however you want. So go through this process, add your own layers, and let's talk about them next week. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Hey, you're very welcome. Everybody have a very good night, and I will see you tomorrow in Discord and on Twitter. Thank you all for coming. This was a good time. I'll get something written, Ron. I will say, for anybody that's left here, if you're looking for something, written, Matty Ryan's got some nice stuff written down. Not a lot of it pertains to Trady stuff, because I do a lot of that, but he's got some decent stuff written down. Go to his Twitter, take a look. Yep, you're all welcome. Have a good night. Clearing it out.